Well, let's do a little garden update, shall we? Today is September 7th, 2022. Some things are doing really amazingly well in the garden, and some things just aren't doing well. It's kind of weird, like beets don't really have any flavor. The brassica is really bitter. Hopefully all these tomatoes will be perfect. There's so many of them. And I don't know if you can see them all. They're camouflaged, but there's red ones in there too. These are Cordovu and Longkeeper. I need to get in here and tie up some of these branches because they're just so heavy with tomatoes that they fell down. So I need to get that done. There's my lemongrass. It's doing great. And my wild common mallow is all around it. It's what most people would consider a weed, but it's been used as a food source since always. But it also works really well for respiratory things like dry cough. This thing causes mucus. And I find that interesting because when I chewed it, it actually dried out my throat. But yet, it does just the opposite in your lungs when you have a dry cough. It brings on a mucus. Wow. Look at that beautiful yellow tomato. I don't know what I planted there. Did I do a pineapple? I don't think I did a pineapple. Maybe I did. I don't know, but here's my San Marzano gigantes. They aren't very gigantic this year. They're supposed to be jumbo, like the size of my hand. Got 2 bins here of potatoes. And this is a not wild, it's a volunteer. It came up from seed. I think I know which one it is by the look of a couple of the tomatoes on there, and I'm hoping that's what it is because I really wanted the seed. So we got some red ones going here. And I have 2 rows of these San Marzanos. See, that one's pretty big. This works so well mulching with lawn clippings. Just took no weeding at all. I mean, every now and then one we'd have to pull up, but my goodness, it worked so well. See, there's some down there. Beautiful. Not quite ready to pick. But I think I'm going to have to cut off the tops, which will tell the tomatoes to start turning red, to get serious about that because they're taking their good old sweet time. I think they're still trying to grow up. Here's our beautiful pepperoncini. I'm really excited because Sam loves pepperoncini, and I'm going to pickle these. And they're turning red, and I guess that means maybe it's time to pick them. I don't know. That one there is turning dark. I'm going to have to Google this tonight. I might have to pick these tomorrow. There's another bush. See, there's a completely red one in there. Interesting. Wow. Okay. There's Jasper down there at the end in the shade. Here and here I have 2 ground cherry bushes. I learned about ground cherries from my grandma. They are interesting, kind of a cross between a cherry and a tomatillo, or a tomato. This is a beautiful weed. Look how easy that comes up. And this crabgrass, watch how easy it comes up. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? All because of the grass clippings that I put down as a mulch. Look at all these. This is Longkeeper here. So many of them. Wow. Then I have 3 tomatillos here. There's a lot of tomatillos on it, but they're pretty small. I need them to get bigger. There's a little rhubarb in a pot. I never got transplanted. And then over here's my pepper patch. And I had peas on here early in the season. This is habaneros, which I'm already getting habaneros on. And I think that's a jalapeno. I have some jalapenos and serranos, and I don't know which is which. This fell over. Not sure why, but I'm gonna have to pick these. They're supposed to turn orange, but I don't want them to just shrivel up and die. I don't know. I was trying to kind of wait to see if the roots were still attached underground, but I don't know. That looks good. More peppers there. I have a paprika. I actually planted a bunch of them, but this is the only one that made it. So many of my plants just died, and I went and got some from some stand by the side of the road, and they weren't marked. I just grabbed some peppers, and we'll see what we get. Then over here is my brassica patch, which is doing pretty well. See my broccoli. Now, what's interesting is 2 weeks ago we tasted it and it was so bitter, we're going to just pull it all up. The same with the kale and the cauliflower. But yesterday we came out here and it wasn't bitter at all. It's pretty sweet, and it's interesting because it's going to seed. You can see the flower heads, which are so yummy. Those yellow flowers with the bees all over them, those flowers are so good. I eat them just raw, but you can put them in your stir fry. But anyway, so the broccoli's great. I assume the kale and cauliflower aren't bitter anymore either, but I haven't tried them yet. But I'm going to be picking this, harvesting it, and putting it in the freeze dryer and grinding it into a powder. And maybe putting it into pills, capsule form. See, here's some more. Oh, that is so yummy. Look at it. It doesn't taste like broccoli, but it's yummy. Okay, what's next? My beans. So this is my green beans. And they are just starting to turn. You can see the leaves are turning color. But this was a really wonderful place to come in and rest when it's really hot in the garden. But this is my herb patch. Here I have my parsley, basil. Then I have a row of cilantro, which went to seed, and I'm going to be collecting the seed for coriander and for coriander? I think so. For coriander, I think that's the name of it. And also my own seed for next year. And then over here I have ginger, which I've never planted before, but I wanted to give it a try. I use a lot of fresh ginger, so we'll see how that turns out. So this is all waiting for me to harvest it as well. Then my onion patch here didn't do as well as I had liked. You can see lots of empty spots, but the ones that are going are doing really good. That's almost softball size. So, I mean, I'm thankful that we have these, you know, the ones that we do have. I'm going to be drying them, freeze drying them in chunks and in powder form. This is, I have 4 zucchini bushes here. Of course, they're planted way too close together, as usual. Or marigolds. I love the amount of pollinators that are in my garden this year. There's so many. Like so many. So this is called bushy pickle. I ordered bush pickle from Territorial. None of them germinated, and so they sent out a new package called bushy pickle to replace it. So to replace bush pickle that didn't germinate for anybody. Now we're just getting our first ones off of these because they were put in pretty late. This I trellised up. I don't know what variety this is. I originally planted homemade pickles, but none of them came up, and so I got something else, and I don't know what variety it is, but oh, they're really good. We eat them just like, you know, they're pickling cucumbers, but we just eat them raw like regular cucumbers. I don't know what I would call that. Not pickling cucumbers. That's our potato patch that didn't work. This is our Hubbard squash. Very excited about that. We have about 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 that are going to get huge, and that will be plenty enough. I'm going to puree it all, cook it all, and make it into, freeze dry it and grind it up, so it's just an add water kind of a thing, and then you've got your Hubbard squash puree for soup or pie or whatever. Here's a row of cauliflower that we kind of let go, but it's doing good. We kind of let it all go and it was all bitter, but I'm going to check it again. This is our corn patch, which was so weird because, you know, this is all the taller. Most of our corn didn't even get this tall before it started to tassel. This is the only row here that produced any corn. I think I got 8 ears off of it, but I mean, we just let it go because, like, it had just been in the ground a very short period of time, and, you know, and it started to tassel, and we were like, whatever. That's so weird. Let's see, what haven't I shown you? Oh, the front corner by the gate. That's what I gotta show you next. I'm loving all the bees, butterflies, and I even had a hummingbird, and we have goldfinch that come right there to eat the seed. It's really beautiful. Okay, so in this corner I grew root vegetables like carrots. So I have carrots there, and up here, and I already harvested about half a row of carrots, and these are ready to be harvested, most of them. And then this is beets. I had a row of beets over here that I already harvested, but these last week were not ready, but boy, they're ready now. That's softball, that's baseball size. And the greens are beautiful. I'm going to freeze dry that. When it's cooked, it tastes like cooked spinach, I think. So then here are my grandpa's oak trees. I picked acorns out from under them. And then I have one little row here of Walla Wallas that I planted really late, and I knew they would be small, but that's okay. That's something that I didn't have before. I have 2 tubs of rhubarb, but we were gone camping last week, and the sprinkler here didn't work, and so none of this got water. I pulled off all the ones that were big and just looked really dead, and I'm actually going to try to cook it tonight, but I've never had it grow before successfully, and I thought I was going to this time, but then that happened. But we'll see. I'm going to try the ones I picked with some strawberry slices that I have in the freezer. And then these flowers, what a beautiful backdrop for the big tall weeds. So I need to get out here and get all those weeds pulled. I was going to fill that whole area right there up with onions, but it just got so hot out that I just had to stop. And so it's doing really well, I think, for the most part. I've been able to keep up day to day, but today I feel like I'm behind because it's the end of the day, and I have a lot of stuff to harvest that I'm not going to get to today, and I'm not going to get to it tomorrow because I have something going on in town. But hopefully it'll all hold on and wait for me. Like the beets, boy, they're ready to come. I'm just leaving them in the ground, hoping they'll last until I can get to them. Hopefully they won't split or get eaten by bugs. But so there you go, folks. That's my garden update and tour and little just video to let you know how everything is going. Thanks so much for taking your time to watch this. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.